Listen to part of a lecture in an American literature class.
Today, we're going to examine F. Scott Fitzgerald, one of the most iconic figures in American literature. Fitzgerald is best known for his novel The Great Gatsby, a work that has become synonymous with the Jazz Age, a term he himself coined to describe the 1920s in the United States. Now, a word or two about the Jazz Age. This refers to the 1920s, a decade of rapid cultural and societal shifts. Jazz music became popular during this period and symbolized a newly emerging lifestyle that focused on self-expression. Fitzgerald sought to capture the spirit of this rapidly changing society through his literature. Now I'll give you a brief overview of Fitzgerald's life and career, which were marked by both extraordinary success and deep personal struggles. First, let's discuss a little bit about his early life. Born in 1896 in St. Paul, Minnesota, Fitzgerald came from a middle-class family. His mother was the daughter of an Irish immigrant who made a fortune in wholesale grocery businesses, while his father worked as a salesman. Growing up, Fitzgerald witnessed the sheer contrast between the wealthy elite and his own family's more modest background. This tension between wealth and poverty would later become a central theme in much of his writing. Fitzgerald was a bright student and showed an interest in writing at a young age. He attended Princeton University, though he never excelled academically. Instead of focusing on his studies, he devoted much of his energy to writing plays and short stories. He also became involved in literary societies and was deeply influenced by the social scene at Princeton. However, he left university in pursuit of a career in writing, never to return to graduate. I really do hope none of you here follow suit. Next, he joined the Army during World War I. It was during this time in the military that he started seriously working on his first novel. His breakthrough came in 1920 with the publication of This Side of Paradise. The novel was an instant success and made him a celebrity at the tender age of 23. It explored the lives and ambitions of young people after World War I, capturing the disillusionment and excitement of the so-called lost generation. This success also allowed him to marry Zelda Sayre, a Southern belle who would become both his muse and a major influence on his work. Their marriage, although passionate, became volatile. It led to creative collaboration, but yielded personal conflict. Following the success of This Side of Paradise, Fitzgerald published The Beautiful and Damned in 1922. This novel continued to explore themes of wealth, ambition, and moral decay, but it didn't achieve the same level of success as his first book. However, Fitzgerald was undeterred, and he began working on what would become his masterpiece, The Great Gatsby, published in 1925. This novel is set in the summer of 1922 and follows the mysterious J. Gatsby, a wealthy man who throws extravagant parties in the hopes of winning back the love of Daisy Buchanan, a woman from his past. The Great Gatsby is often considered one of the greatest American novels. Why? Well, it was in part because it so perfectly captures the contradictions of the Jazz Age. On one hand, it's a novel about the American dream, the idea that anyone, regardless of their background, can achieve success through hard work. But on the other hand, the novel reveals the dark side of that dream as it exposes the emptiness and corruption that often accompany the pursuit of wealth and status. What makes The Great Gatsby so fascinating? Well, it is the way it addresses not just the characters' personal stories, but also broader social and cultural issues. Fitzgerald's portrayal of wealth, class, and ambition speaks to the excesses of the 1920s, a decade of rapid economic growth, widespread consumerism, and the rise of new technologies like the automobile and the radio. But beneath the glittering surface of Gatsby's world lies a deep sense of disillusionment and loss, themes that resonate with readers to this day. Despite the critical acclaim that The Great Gatsby enjoys today, it wasn't an immediate success. In fact, it sold poorly when it was first published, and Fitzgerald's reputation began to decline soon after. He continued to write and publish short stories to put bread on the table for his family, but he took to drink and suffered alcoholism, heading into financial difficulties. His relationship with Zelda also went downhill as she battled mental illness. By the 1930s, Fitzgerald's career spiraled downward, and he found himself working in Hollywood as a screenwriter to make ends meet. Fitzgerald's final novel, Tender is the Night, published in 1934, was based partially on his own experiences with Zelda's mental illness and their troubled marriage. The novel explores themes of love, failure, and the disintegration of idealism. While it received mixed reviews at the time, it has since been recognized as one of his most significant works. Tragically, Fitzgerald died in 1940 at age 44, believing himself to be a failure. However, his soul has lived on. How? Well, his reputation underwent a revival after his death, particularly in the 1950s and 1960s, when The Great Gatsby was rediscovered by a new generation of readers. Also, The Great Gatsby received a film adaptation several times, the most recent one being the 2013 movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio as Gatsby. Also, author William Joyce is reportedly set to direct an animated version of The Great Gatsby. It's been a long time since his passing, but his seminal work will continue to be revisited, reinterpreted, and represented.